Miami's marksman from beyond the arc.
Robinson for three. It's a Robinson rainstorm from downtown.
His basketball path had a humble beginning.
My first 3 years were very underwhelming. I didn't check into games.
He would go into the gym and shoot.
He just started to practice and practice and practice.
His shooting set him apart from the rest.
He became so proficient that the fans would actually groan if he missed 2 threes in a row.
Another three, and Duncan Robinson wears a crown.
That's the way it should be in a book. Like if someone's like, how do you shoot? It should be a picture of him.
He is built for the culture.
He's maximized every opportunity that's come his way.
Robinson, a real long three. Get out of here, Robinson!
And his confidence continues to climb.
I've said this for a while. He's one of the best shooters on this planet.
Nobody thought it would be in the NBA, but it was fitting for my journey and my career to push the chips to the center and bet on myself.
Inside the Heat, Duncan Robinson. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Heat. I'm Eric Reed. As we begin the Miami Heat's 33rd NBA season, things may look and feel a lot different around here, but Heat Nation, as always, has a lot to be excited about, including one of the game's elite three-point shooters. Fresh off his franchise record-setting season from downtown, Duncan Robinson has become a key part of the Heat's success. His path to the NBA, unique, fueled by hard work, determination, and a belief in himself. Recently, Duncan and I enjoyed a virtual conversation, and we started at the very beginning. Well, a sign of the times here in 2020 for sure. I'm here in my home in Boca Raton and Duncan Robinson in his home in Miami. Nonetheless, it's great to catch up with you, Duncan. And let's start right at the beginning of your life, growing up with your family and your parents in Newcastle, New Hampshire.
We had less than, I think, 1,000 people in our town. My graduating class of 6th grade, I was one of 4, so definitely a small town. Grew up the youngest of 3, really close to my whole family, and to feel their support throughout my entire journey has really been special.
And we were very outdoors, nature. We turned off the TV for 7 years.
New Hampshire has about 12 miles of coastline, so in the summers it's really nice, kind of like a little bit of a beach town. The winter, the good thing that I always have was basketball, and that it may have been freezing out, but I was able to play the sport that I loved.
When did the sport of basketball come into your life, and how did it happen?
I started playing when I was young. You know, my dad played, and he first introduced me to the game. I really didn't fall in love with it probably until about middle school and then high school. I was a late bloomer. You know, I was 5'6" as a freshman and grew pretty much a foot throughout high school.
Duncan shot up to 6'6" his senior year at the Governor's Academy in Massachusetts and averaged 18.5 points a game that season. But getting to that point was not easy.
The whole Governor's experience was very challenging.
My first 3 years were very underwhelming from a production standpoint. In my junior year even, I didn't check into games.
We would take him out to eat after games, and he'd be apoplectic, really, just so disappointed and so frustrated. But then we'd bring him back, and he would go into the gym and shoot.
He just said, I'm going to have a relationship with basketball. Everybody else he was going to become deaf to. He just started to practice and practice and practice.
It just really challenged my love for the game, and you know, I ultimately ended up making a decision to continue to stick with it and continue to try to push forward. And I was able to have a pretty solid senior year and position myself for a little bit of a future. I want to take you back to your AAU basketball days with the Middlesex Magic. You had a coach by the name of Michael Crotty Jr. I know you had an important coach-player relationship with him. Tell us about that experience. Yeah, so, you know, I didn't play AAU up until my last year of high school. I never really had the opportunity to latch on with a good program. Michael Crotty really opened so many doors for me, and first and foremost was really one of the first coaches to really believe in me. And push me and challenge me and encourage me.
To be able to instill confidence was something I tried to do. I would always just say to him, you are the best shooter in the gym, period.
How did the shot get uncovered and discovered that you had a gift for shooting the basketball?
I always loved just kind of being in the gym. All throughout high school, I spent a ton of time in the gym, really just by myself. It was a lot of just shooting and then chasing after the ball and then going back out and shooting again.
That's the way it should be in a book. Like if someone's like, how do you shoot? It should be a picture of him.
Lightly recruited with only a few Division III offers, Duncan decided to delay college for a postgraduate year at Phillips Exeter Academy.
Opting for a fifth year is something that's much more common in New England, and it just made sense for me.
He just kind of needed that springboard. So when he got here, he definitely got stronger. His confidence grew, and then he just took off. He was the best player in our gym a lot of nights.
Duncan led Exeter to a 28-1 record and the program's first championship. In the title game, the MVP shot a perfect 9 for 9 from the field en route to 24 points and 10 rebounds.
Where's the MVP trophy going?
Wherever my mom wants it to go. She supported me all the way through, so it's hers. She can do what she wants with it.
I developed a really great relationship with Coach Jay Tilton, who's built an incredible program at Exeter, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Welcome back to Inside the Heat. Duncan Robinson had become a good player on his teams in high school, AAU, and at his prep school. But when it came time for college, he was realistic, and he wanted to choose a school that had great academics where he could also play the game he loved. He ultimately decided on a small Division III liberal arts college that checked all those boxes. Duncan and I continued our virtual conversation with his decision to play at Williams College.
As good a high school player as he was, I knew he was going to be a better college player. I love Williams. When he decided to go, I was certainly excited as an alum. I knew he was going to help us win a lot of games, and I knew he'd have a great experience.
I chose to play at Williams largely because of Coach Mike Maker. I felt like I was really wanted to be a part of a program, and that meant so much to me.
We were surprised that, I don't want to say he fell to us, but to be honest, I thought he was a Division I player.
He was gaining a sense of himself as a impact player on the team.
It wasn't until probably halfway through the year where I really started to develop confidence, and they were just constantly pushing me to be more and more aggressive.
You need to shoot more. If we want to get to where we want to get to, you need to be more aggressive. You need to shoot, and just you could see it slowly start to click.
Robinson, three, bang!
He became so proficient so early on that the fans would actually groan if he missed 2 threes in a row. They'd be like, oh.
He set every freshman record that Williams has ever had. So I think it was evident that in 1 year he was definitely going to be the best player our school had ever seen.
Robinson gets it to go.
Williams made it to the 2014 Division III National Championship game, but came up short. When Coach Maker left for a Division I offer, Duncan began exploring his options.
I immediately called Coach Beeline and told him, I think I have a player for you. He's every bit as good as any kid we had at West Virginia.
That's when I was offered an official visit to Michigan.
It was initially going to be a walk-on. I said, no, he's too good to be a walk-on. Let's just offer him a scholarship. He's good enough.
Take us through your 3 years in Ann Arbor playing for Michigan.
The transition certainly didn't come without its fair share of adversity. That redshirt year, the first year that I sat out, thinking that I had made a terrible mistake. I just tried to continue to stick with it.
He was playing with 4 or 5 first-rounders, and we had other very good players as well, and so he was just sort of trying to fit in. We had to get him to hunt more shots.
That was challenging for him because he had to grow in such different ways. He had to really prove his mettle defensively. He had to really round out his game even more, and he had to really earn that, and that was hard. It wasn't always easy for him. I think he's gone through a lot of adversity.
My junior year, made the Sweet 16.
Another three, and Duncan Robinson wears a crown.
We just would always end up playing our best basketball at the right time. And for my senior year, we were able to win another Big Ten tournament championship and go all the way to the national championship game.
One more in the corner. Robinson, bingo!
Unfortunately, Michigan lost the national championship game, but Duncan was still able to make a name for himself during his time in Ann Arbor.
He scored 1,000 points for us at Michigan. If he played 4 years, he would have been probably the all-time leading three-point shooter. He just had some great moments in different games. to really put games away for us.
He really learned what it was to compete at a high level. He developed a lot of strong relationships there.
That's the special thing about college basketball. To this day, some of my closest friends are the guys that, were on that team.
Unclear of where his future was headed, Duncan reached out to a staff writer and expressed his interest in a sports journalism career.
I remember reaching out to Mark Titus at the time, who was working at The Ringer, and did an informational interview. And I just picked his brain on his job and how he kind of got to where he was. It's funny now, looking back.
Taking a chance on himself, Robinson knew he would have to take a road less traveled to make it to the NBA.
He could go to Europe and make a lot of money. He got down to a couple of teams, and he chose the Heat, but he knew he was going to have to spend time in the G League to get there.
Your senior year at Michigan was winding down. What did you envision was ahead, or was Duncan Robinson's next step in life and in basketball?
I didn't know what that would look like. I thought there was a very good chance it could have been overseas, could have been in the G League. Truthfully, probably nobody thought it would be in the NBA. But it was also fitting for my journey and my career to kind of have that uncertainty looming over and to just kind of push the chips to the center and bet on myself.
Welcome back to Inside the Heat. Duncan Robinson's college career at the University of Michigan was a dream come true on so many levels. But after going undrafted by the NBA, Duncan faced a basketball crossroad. Play overseas, walk away from the game, or continue to chase his dream. And Duncan did that by earning a spot on Miami's Summer League roster. And our virtual conversation continued with this chapter of his basketball story.
Very nice. Very nice.
Right from that first Summer League training camp practice, I remember just being kind of taken back by the focus and the intention towards developing this culture.
He's more competitive than you would think he is, quicker than you think he is, so we like his skill set. I was somebody that Chet went after right away as soon as the draft was over, and you can see why.
Duncan was not alone in his development. His grind was shared with other young talents.
I was fortunate enough to play with former college teammate of mine at the time, Derek Walton, and then also Derek Jones and Bam and Yonte Mayton. To have that be my first professional basketball experience was a special one.
A stellar Summer League performance landed Duncan a two-way contract with the Miami Heat and its G League affiliate, the Sioux Falls Skyforce.
I felt like it was such a great fit, an organization that prides itself on its development and finding guys that have a chip on their shoulder. I felt like I was falling into the perfect place, and I was just excited for the opportunity ahead.
That's what separated him, actually. He got to experience that. It gave him an edge. I think guys with an edge going into the NBA have a huge advantage over those guys who are supposed to be good.
Just trying to prove myself, be aggressive, make shots, and help the team win in any way.
He could reign on one stage in Sioux Falls, and then going to the big stage of Miami. He saw opportunity and just kept working the open doors as they came.
Here's Duncan Robinson, tripling. Duncan Robinson's 8th triple of the preseason, his first score of this game.
The Heat would place a welcome mat out for Duncan after a successful preseason as he made the 2018-19 opening day roster.
How quickly did you know that this is exactly the kind of place, I want to be and need to be to get to be who I want to be?
Really early on, my early meetings with Coach Spo, I remember him saying, look, you can really shoot, but we want to take that skill to another level.
He's an elite shooter. You can't leave him alone. And he works at it and works at it and works at it.
Your NBA debut with the Heat came in the 4th game of that season against the New York Knicks. What's your memory from game 1 in your career in Miami?
I was supposed to fly to Sioux Falls in the morning. Right before the game, a couple guys went down, and all of a sudden I was not only going to be dressing, but it was in all likelihood I was going to be playing. You know, as soon as my number was called, I remember just like eagerly like jumping up and rushing to the scores table, just like trying to check in. And first couple possessions, you just feel like everything's moving a million miles an hour, but then you just kind of start to settle in and just play basketball.
Out to Robinson for three. Committed. Duncan Robinson, your official welcome to the NBA.
Duncan split the majority of the 2018-19 season between the Heat and the Skyforce. His impact with Sioux Falls was sure felt, averaging 21 points and setting a single-season record with 157 threes.
I loved my time in Sioux Falls. I can't say enough positive things about that organization up there and the way that they run things. The weather's a little cold. That would maybe be the only downfall, but the basketball experience was top tier for sure.
Duncan's got it again. Robinson for three, his fifth of the game in the left corner. Down it goes.
The confidence that the Heat coaching staff and the Sioux Falls staff had in him to continue to improve on what he does well, that encouragement is what he thrived on.
You know, what I loved about both experiences was when I was with the Heat, I could really observe and be challenged in practice and see what it took to, you know, hold your own at that level. And then when I went down to Sioux Falls, I had the opportunity to really play through mistakes and be challenged on both ends of the floor. I felt like I was really giving myself a chance to, you know, pursue my ultimate dream, which was playing in the NBA.
Duncan Robinson for three.
Welcome back to Inside the Heat. Duncan Robinson was just beginning to find his NBA niche with his long-distance shooting and his work ethic. As a rookie, he played 15 games with Miami, but he averaged over 20 points a game in the G League, playing on a two-way contract. As his second season was about to begin, Duncan sensed he was ready for a bigger role in Miami, and we continued our virtual conversation looking back on his breakout NBA season.
This is Robinson. And that's a three, and this home crowd up and out of their seats.
Well, Duncan, we get to 2019, 2020 in a year and season full of surprises. You were one of the best surprises in Miami.
But for me, it was really just about continuing to gain confidence and building on top of each other and experience success and having my work and my preparation come to fruition.
Oh, that's pretty. Backdoor cut. Boy, what a threat Robinson has become.
It was your teammates and your head coach and his staff that were feeding that confidence. What was that like for a young player really in his first full NBA season?
It's incredible to have the support, particularly of, you know, Coach Spo.
I've said this for a while. He's one of the best shooters on this planet. He's put in the work. He's put in the sweat. He's put in the grind.
Just that, like, unrelenting confidence in me. Over time, it just, like, it wears on you, like, through osmosis.
Robinson for three. Got it! Right at the buzzer!
That's how you motivate him. You just have to believe in him.
It's really rewarding to see the fact that his confidence is the highest I've ever seen it at the highest level.
Step back, three on the way. Robinson got it to go. Robinson, wow.
How hard you have to work without the basketball to get free might be the most overlooked and underrated thing about most great shooters in the league. Talk about that element.
It's probably what I work on the most now. That's been my biggest area of focus, is to just find ways to get open and free yourself so you can get to your shot and still be effective.
Robinson again! It's a Robinson rainstorm from downtown. South Florida loves their Duncan. Robinson, a real long three. Get out of here, Robinson. Oh, my goodness.
And it is that efficiency from beyond the arc that landed him a spot in the three-point all-star competition.
It was a great experience to have my family and my friends out there. My teammates competing there as well.
What's up, Miami? It's me, and I'm with the homies. You know, we all the all-star weekend.
To represent the Miami Heat organization.
Get hot. Get hot. Come on, go.
Disappointed in the result, and you know, the motivation to get back is certainly high.
In a remarkable year, with 19 games still remaining, Duncan set a Heat record for most threes made in a single season with 233. Despite a global pandemic shutting the league down for 4 months, the season did restart. 22 teams played in a first-of-its-kind NBA bubble. Duncan Robinson pull-up three, and then a perfect way to restart the NBA season.
To be a part of that, to have those memories, let alone, having the run that we did, to do it with that group of guys was really, really special. And we all just really embraced being there. And as a group, we just carry this massive chip on our shoulders.
You wound up starting all 21 playoff games. You hit 62 threes. What stands out in your memory as the high point of that part of the journey?
Just the level of competition, the flow and the feel and the physicality.
Robinson fires the three, puts it in. Duncan Robinson with his 6th three-pointer of the game.
I really felt like I improved a lot and learned a lot about what it was going to take moving forward.
Duncan is really one of the most amazing stories that we've had. Somebody that came in undrafted. His level of perseverance and grit is in the top percentile of this entire association.
So gratifying to see him achieve so much when the odds were so big.
He's, maximized every opportunity that's come his way.
I watched from where he was to where he is now, and the growth. And not just the growth as a basketball player, but the growth as a man, the confidence that he has in himself.
And to get where he is something that's really, truly remarkable.
He's one of the best shooters in NBA. I'm expecting big things for him this season. And, keep shooting, Duncan.
What do you see ahead for yourself, and what you see ahead for this championship-aspiring team this year?
From a personal standpoint, I'm just really excited to continue to develop and continue to prove myself at this level. And then from a group standpoint, we feel like we have everything we need. And of course, it starts with our leaders and guys like Bam, Jimmy, and Goran, the new additions as well. We feel like we have a great mix.
Looking forward to about 300 more kabooms this year, brother.
I like it.
Stay healthy and be well. We'll see you soon, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys. That was fun.
Duncan Robinson is already regarded as one of the NBA's best shooters in a league that values the three-point shot, and he's determined to grow his game off his breakout season. Now, his willingness to continue to work on his game with the same passion, purpose, and persistence that got him here in the first place has everyone in Heat Nation excited about what comes next for Miami's long shot maker. And thank you for watching this edition of Inside the Heat. I'm Eric Reed.